Hi, it's Dr. Soul here. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you install the Visual Studio Code as well as the Jupyter Notebook. In my previous video, I demonstrated the web access to Jupyter Notebook, which provides you interactive programming platform. If you haven't seen the previous video, check the link below at the end of this demonstration. In your browser, type Visual Studio Code download. That brings the results of download Visual Studio Code. That is what you're looking at, and that should be from https://code.visualstudio.com. The link will be in the description as well. Then click on the download, and I'm going to be selecting the Windows operating system, 64-bit, which is quite common these days. There are other options of installations in Mac OS, for example, or Linux. Let me pick Windows. And that is going to spin around, and I'm going to go down to the folder, and I'm going to be interested in my download folder. I have the file there. I have double click on it twice. And I'm going to double click on the executable file, and that is going to spin around for some few minutes. And I'm going to click OK, and this is going to come up, the license agreement. And I'm going to select accept, and I'm going to click next. Next. I'm going to use the default throughout. And I am going to select create a desktop icon here. The descriptions of the rest of the checkboxes are there. Let me not waste time with reading it out, and I'm going to click next, and I'm going to install. That is going to spin around for a few minutes. I have a 16 gig virtual machine that I'm installing it on today. That is pretty going to be fast. Okay, that is done. I'm going to launch the Visual Studio Code. I'm going to click finish. It's that easy. Now, in Visual Studio Code, I want to install Jupyter. The easiest way to do it is to interactively install Jupyter based on prompt or requirements. So as you run it, a test code, it tells you what it needs to run. So that is what I'm going to proceed to. Now to do so, and I'm going to go into view. So what I have done so far, I've installed the Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to proceed to extensions. Extensions can be found in view, and I'm going to click on extensions. In extensions, we have the Jupyter that is provided by Microsoft, and I'm going to select installed. Okay, now this window is going to come up, and it is going to install, and it gives you here create or open a Jupyter notebook. I'm going to create and open a Jupyter notebook. So it gives you a Jupyter notebook, but it's not fully installed yet. But the way I approach this, I will type a simple command in Python to print. I'm going to type in here print welcome. Okay, let's not waste time with a long test, and I'm going to run this. So it is going to prompt me what has been missed out. That is the beauty of this. It is going to spin around, and it's going to tell me what is missed out. And if I looked at a prompt here, do you want to install the recommended extension for Python? So I'm going to select install here. Okay. Now that proceed with installing whatever files that is needed next for Python. That is still spinning around, and it is going to be done soon. Again, I'm going to go back to my file, which is the IP, which is interactive Python notebook, and I'm going to run again. So it is telling me here, please download and install Python in order to execute cells in this notebook. And I'm going to click install. So if you look at what I have been doing so far, I'm actually using the prompt requirement of my test code to get the files I need. And I'm going to click get. That is going to spin around and get installed. At the end of the installation, I recommend closing the Visual Studio Code. The reason for that is if you try to proceed with testing the program, it is still going to prompt you Python is not installed, because it is when the Visual Studio Code reload that it will detect the Python installation. And I'm going to come out from here. As I have said, the installation is not done now. The get is no longer there. And if you want me to test before I come out of this, and I'm going to run again, so it gives me the same result, just as I have explained some few minutes back. I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to come out of it entirely. Okay, let me clear my screen, or close the window. I'm going back to Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to run that test program I have written, or the test code I have written. I'm going to run it again. Let's wait for it to load up. Now, if I run it, if there is a requirement, it's going to prompt me. Okay, it is telling me running cells require Jupyter and notebook packages, and I'm going to click install. The beauty of this, it provides you all that is needed, as against you having to be searching all over the internet to find the required packages to install. Sometimes it just don't work. But with this approach, it is quite easy to do the installation. Okay, the installation is continuing. We are about there. Okay, great, that is done now. Let's waiting for it to finish. We need to have patience to get it finished before we run the code, as we get into other issues. Okay, so we can see in our screen, welcome is actually printed. And the good thing about Python Jupyter is it gives you the result as you test the code. You find it handy in data science, and subscribe if you have not done so. Do click on the notification button so that you do not miss showing up, because there will be a lot of activities on this channel and few